This is for my persuasive speech. This is my audience of 5. A recent study shows that employees who work longer than their scheduled times prove to be less productive after work hours. Therefore, employees should have the right to disconnect from work, as research shows that rest will reset an employee's mind to be ready to return to work. Firstly, I will discuss the study that shows why being overworked leads to negative results. Secondly, I will discuss why employees have the right to disconnect from their workplaces. And thirdly, I will discuss why the employee should take time to rest for mental benefits. For many years, it has been thought that the way to increase productivity was found in the hours met after a normal workday schedule. A study in 2016 done by Jan Suerman and Nadine Radel proves that this way of thinking is false. Sauerman and Radel performed their research using 332 people. During their research, they ensured that the employees were unaware that this research was being done to make the data as realistic as possible. Sauerman and Radel analyzed their data and concluded with an equation that showed the workers' productivity in comparison to their exceeded work schedule. The outcome was a negative impact on productivity. Sauerman and Radel were actually hinting at the idea of disconnecting from the workplace in their studies. With the evidence shown by employees having negative outcomes when they are overworked, they both agree that employees should not have to exceed work hours because it will take away from their personal life. While doing their studies, they realized that employees who were already overworked were more susceptible to reconnecting to their workplace compared to those who were not overworked. The idea of disconnecting is more simply stated when Sauerman and Radel write about how disassociation from the workplace was crucial to ensuring that employees did not feel any more obligated than they needed to be. Sauerman and Radel studies show that employees who exceed their designated work schedule will feel the negative impacts in their home life. They also state that employees who feel that they spend more time at work feel rushed to complete their home life tasks such as sleeping, chores, and housework. Whenever the employees felt rushed to complete outside of work tasks, they began to stress the possibility of being asked to work longer hours and ultimately found themselves thinking about their home life while at work, more than the current tasks they were assigned to while at work. Finally, looking at their empirical strategy using data from their panel, they concluded their research with an equation that took the average worker's productivity and contrasted it with their working hours. With the knowledge of Sauerman and Radel's research, I will now discuss why employees have the right to disconnect from work. With the knowledge of there being many different jobs, the discussion of salaried employees compared to full-time employees creates very distinct roles. Employees who are salaried are more likely to be under contract, to have a different set of working rules than a full-time employee. Many employees who are salaried sign an agreement with their employer that states that they may be contacted after working hours. While salaried employees are scheduled for a set of working hours per week, they are not legally limited to working those exact number of hours. Most salaried employees can miss days of work without penalization, with the counter being that they may have to work more hours in certain weeks. Employees who are full-time are required to work a set number of hours per week. Full-time employees in America are expected to work an average of 40 hours per week, with penalizations being based upon absenteeism. Full-time employees often find their work schedule clashing with their home life activities. Full-time employees receive little to no benefit from being contacted outside of working hours. Why the difference of a full-time employee compared to a salaried employee shows the importance of disconnecting from work. A full-time employee will have a varying salary based upon the hours they work per week, compared to a salaried employee who will have consistency no matter the variation of hours. Full-time employees receiving little to no benefit from connecting back to work after hours makes them relate their home life to their work life, which often results in work burnout. Full-time employees have more potential expectations due to there not being a set limit, compared to a salaried employee whose contract sets a limit. When employees have an exceeded expectation of responsibilities found at work, they find themselves under more stress in their home life. When people are increasingly stressed out, their mental health begins to decline, resulting in a lack of productivity in their entire life. When people are lacking productivity in their home life due to work-related circumstances, disconnecting from work becomes the most crucial step in moving forward. When people find themselves in a situation where they must disconnect from work, they often think they have no way of avoiding the infamous phone call from their employer. The right to disconnect allows employees to ensure they will not be contacted outside of working hours, ensuring that work stays in the workplace environment. Disconnecting from work by not responding unless under contract is legal and should be practiced by all employees to ensure they can focus on their personal health. When people can focus on their mental health, they can improve productivity in the workplace. Improving productivity in the workplace oftentimes leads to employees feeling refreshed after they have ample time to rest and eventually return to work. When an employee is well rested when they work, they will not feel so strained to do tasks that may involve the rare possibility of outside work. Mental health can involve stress, anxiety, sense of hopelessness, constant anger and frustration, and a lack of care or a lack of productivity. Whenever an employee can fully disconnect from work, they can fully disassociate their work life once they clock out. Full disconnection can be a daunting possibility, but with the correct communication, employees can set boundaries early in their career with their employer about how disconnected they wish to be. During the orientation process of being hired, employees have the greatest opportunity to discuss with their employer about the company's beliefs in disconnection. Once employees understand their right to disconnect, they are no longer under the fictitious belief that their job has become their life for more than what it is scheduled. In conclusion, when studies prove that exceeded work hours do not increase in productivity, disconnecting from work actually helps employees with increasing their productivity, resulting in better mental health and a healthy disassociation between their work life and their home life. This has shown why studies about being overworked does not lead to increased productivity, shows why employees have the right to disconnect and should disconnect from work, and why they should take time for themselves with disconnecting for their mental benefits. Thank you.